The day before a race is weird because it's like every other day. In a way, you expect it to be different, but it's mostly just the same. I mean, you've got packet pickup and the expo, which I love, and that's different, but most of the day you still do what you'd do if it were any other normal day. And the entire day you're trying to keep your mind off the race, but it's always in the back of your head, just lurking in the shadows, reminding you that tomorrow you are going to suffer. Hi. Tomorrow you're going to push your mind and body to the absolute limit. And yet today is just normal. Things get a little bit more real when you're getting your gear ready for the next day. And then the night comes with the restless sleep. And then before you know it, it's time.
Three miles, average pace 5:55. And I am in like 12th place or 13th. Five and a half. Average pace 5:50, 54. Seven and a half, average pace 5:53. Eleven and a half, average pace 5:53.
At the starting line that morning, the air was cold, and there was also this intensity in the air, like the air was tense. And I think it's because, many of us put a lot of time and effort into preparing for the race. And so there's a lot of anticipation there, and there's a lot of understanding that we're about to take the first couple steps into the unknown, because there's a lot that can go on in 13 miles. And so I in many ways, I love that feeling of intensity in the air, that anticipation that comes with running a race. But, you know, I started out pretty fast. I think my fastest mile was that first mile at a 5:45, and then it slowed down as we climbed a couple hills, and it was pretty flat for a while as we rounded the reservoir up there. And then after that, you know, right before I started going down into the canyon, I think it was mile 4 or 5, somewhere in between there, I had some serious doubts. I started to wonder if I could actually hold this pace for the next 8, 9 miles. And those doubts stayed with me for about a mile or two. And then something switched around mile 7. And it's not that the pain went away. It's not that the effort decreased. The effort and the pain was still there, but I entered into that elusive flow state. And I think I found that place that I wanted to find, that I described between surrender and effort, except I don't think I would call it that anymore. I don't think it's a between effort and surrender. I think it's a both. I think it's both effort and surrender, kind of a unity of the two. And, you know, what I experienced for the next, from mile 7 through 11, so it was like 4 miles, it wasn't easy, but my pace was faster than I expected it to be. Time seemed to stand still in some ways. Like, it was still incredibly uncomfortable though. I'm trying to explain something and put words to something that in many ways is indescribable. But I know that runners of anyone are going to understand that feeling, what it's like to enter that state of mind, that flow state where it's effort and surrender. I don't know. It was a beautiful experience, and, you know, words aren't going to do it justice, but I thought I'd share my thoughts on that. But anyways, as I approached mile 11, we left the road and got onto the Ogden River Parkway. The Ogden River Parkway is much narrower than a normal road, and there was a lot of people running the 8-mile race that I had caught up to, and I was passing through the canyon and then onto the Ogden River Parkway. It got really crowded, and that wasn't very fun, trying to dodge people. And then the Ogden River Parkway is kind of a roller coaster where you're going up and down, and there's a couple sharp turns, and so my effort from 11 through the end of the race peaked. Like, it was very hard, and I remember thinking that I didn't have much left to give, which is a great feeling to have, understanding that you're very close to the end of the race. And then for the last mile, I think there was less than a mile left, and I could see the finish line in the distance. I mean, with this course, you've got a straight shot for the last, I think it's like 0.8 of a mile. Like, you can see the finish line, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But I looked down, and for the first time, I kind of looked at my overall time, because I don't know, I didn't want to look at that. I was just looking at my average pace the whole time. And it was at that moment that I realized that I was going to do it, that I was going to hit my goal time, and I'm even going to have quite a bit of room to spare. And so I relaxed and I let myself soak it all in. I soaked in the cheering and the moment of hitting the goal that I'd wanted to hit. And I saw my wife and kids cheering me on right near the finish line, and my parents were there, and it was just a beautiful moment. And then crossing the finish line at about 2 minutes faster than my goal time, it was that moment of self-transformation, and in many ways a self-transcendent moment. And I hope you know that I'm sincere when I say that, and I don't want to sound self-aggrandizing or prideful, because it wasn't a moment of pride. I wasn't proud that I ran 13 miles or that I did it in the time that I did it in. It was a moment of satisfaction. And once again, this is kind of a moment that is indescribable, that trying to put words to it, at least I can't do it right now. And in fact, my mom even asked me at the finish line, she's like, what were you feeling through the race and what are you feeling now? And I had a really hard time describing it then, and I'm not gonna do any better now. But anyways, I share this experience not to share how fast I ran 13 miles or say how proud I am that I finished my half marathon on my goal time. It's more about me sharing my experience and trying to put words to something that is very hard to describe. And so hopefully, if anything, this was interesting or entertaining in some way, but more than anything, I hope that the words that I used to describe this resonated with you. It was a fantastic day. I enjoyed every minute of that painful experience, and I hope this was, inspiring if you're looking for inspiration, and if not, I hope my experience resonated with you and that you've experienced something similar. So anyways, I hope you'll stick around and I'll catch you in the next video.